Welcome to Mary's Eclectic Interests. Today I'm going to show you how to make Christmas cards out of old Christmas cards and this little note card. These are the supplies you're going to need. A cutting board. Now if you don't have a cutting board such as the one I have here, a self-healing one, just something that you're not going to cut through and end up damaging your counter. And I also have a pencil. Two-way tape, utility type knife that you can cut with, a metal ruler. Now this is something unusual, this for measuring your hem, and a scissors. And I also have this cardstock, Christmas cards, and the envelope. So these are the things that you may be using. I have a tendency to frequent thrift stores, and in one thrift store I found this. Now, at one time, people were purchasing these items for, let's say, a wedding invitation. So here you have everything you need, already pre-cut. This was supposed to be the thank you card with this little, you can see this maroon edging here, was supposed to go on the outside. You'll notice that I did flip it, and I put it on the inside with the message, wishing you a joyful holiday season and a new year full of promise. But that's not all I have in my house. I get a lot of Christmas cards in the mail. And what I noticed, the first thing I noticed were these beautiful envelopes. I mean, look at this, all the decorations, everything, plus there's decorations on the back. What I ended up really concentrating on were these, the front portion of the envelope. And then I would take the card, in some cases, and I'll show you how I did it, and cut out portions of it to make a card. I'm going to show you the steps I took to get from this little note card to these Christmas cards. Now this is that little deer, and it's the only one I have like this, and I just absolutely love it. And here's the envelope I found that came with a Christmas card. And look at how that just kind of blends in. So the first thing I'm going to do is take this off. And that's, you can do it a couple of ways. If you want, you can rip it and have a nice, kind of a little uneven edge. Or I just went like this, took it off. So I'm just going to set this aside. We're not going to use it anymore. Now watch how this goes. Doesn't that look nice? And you get to, there's some, with all envelopes, there's that part that you glue down. So all you need is a little bit of water, which I forgot to put that you need. So yes, a little bit of water. I just kind of get my fingers a little wet, and I want to get that portion wet. Now it's going to go in place. I'm going to try and center it, but it doesn't really matter if you get it exactly center. Okay, now you have this. All I'm going to do is flip it over. I'm going to put my ruler upside down, because this does have cork on the back, which keeps it from sliding, so I want you to see that. But also if it's upside down, I'm getting closer to what I'm cutting. Now we have this top, and of course this is where I'm going to use, and what did I do with it? My two-way tape. And I don't need a whole lot. I just need enough for the corners, so I'll put one in each corner. You can put one in the middle if you wanted to, and I'll do that. It would secure it a little better by doing that. So let's just put 3 in. Okay, this part's done. Now I'm going to add this. And again, now before I add this, as I mentioned, this was made as a note card. I don't need this back portion. So I'm going to take this, open it up, and get rid of that back portion. I don't need it, and it adds to the bulkiness of the card. Now this one has a little gem on it, and if you're going to be mailing this, I'll show you a trick to do with that too. Do the 4 corners. Oops. Well, it's okay, good enough. So the only thing that might be, if you have smaller children doing this, instead of using this, I would suggest children's scissors or scissors. And voila, I'm done. And here, and guess what? Now don't do what I just did. You see what I did? I did not pay attention to what I was doing. And I just did this card upside down. Isn't that interesting? But you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to mail it this way. And the reason I'm going to mail it this way is to protect this gem when it goes through the post office. So let's do another one. First of all, check to make sure your writing is on the bottom. Now this one, I tore the top off because I wanted that ragged edge. And you may not see it too much, but I can see it from my angle. And I'm going to, again, just put a little water on here and a little water on there. And I didn't take this whole envelope flap. I just cut down where the peace sign was. And let's get this on here. And again, I'm going to, well, first let's cut this off so I don't have those little tags. And as I said, I go upside down with the ruler because it gets me closer to what I'm doing. Now I'm going to flip this over and do this. Now that's down. Again, I'm going to have to take this and take off this bottom. See this? This side has to be taken off. And that's not that difficult to do because all I'm going to do, put 4 pieces of tape here, or you could just put one big piece all the way across. I just find it's easier to manipulate smaller pieces. And here we go. I actually did this one right? Here, let's see this. And there's my greeting. Now here's one that I did, and it's really simple. I happen to like this card. And here's the actual card. This is what I was working with. Let's put them down like this so you can see what they look like. And this one is, look at how big this is. And look at what I did with it. I made something totally different out of it. First thing I'm going to do is cut this down to, here we go, cut the card in half and get rid of this. Make sure my card is in the correct position. Here we go. And then I'm going to take, all I wanted was this, and I have it coming over just a little tab up here, but you know, let's get it all the way down. There we go. And I want this to go on here. And let's see if I can get it straight. There we go. Flip this over, mark it. Again, I'm always doing this upside down. And let's hope I do this right, but I have some others, but there we go. So you could just leave it just like this for an alternate to this one. See how that's different? You can do it this way, but I actually like it better to have the two pieces there. So I'm just going to tape it all on. Where's my tape? Here we go. I keep misplacing things, don't I? Now I need to, there, get over further. It's a bit hard for me to get centered being that there's a freezer here. What I should do is mark my green board. Now I don't have to put any tape on the bottom because there, that's good, because this one will be taped on top. Now you could also glue these all. If you want to just use glue instead of tape, go for that. I just found the fastest way for me to do it and the least messy was to use the tape. Now I have two of these. Now here's one that I did, and you don't see too much. There's a little bit of maroon going here because I used one of these cards. And I just put the picture in the middle. So here's how we're going to cut all of the everything to get this particular card. This, fortunately, is 8.5 inches long, which is great. And it's 5.5 inches wide. These cards, the thank you notes, because this was all together in that same wedding invitation packet, is 4.25 by 5.5. So what I did, I just put this card over this card, or you can just measure down because you know you're going to just divide it in half. So here we have 8.5, and we know the card is 4.25. You just put a little mark, 4.25. Four and a quarter. I'm going to use it cork side down so it won't slide. Here we go. There we go. And guess what? It fits perfectly. Now we're going to cheat, and I'll show you how to do this. We're going to take, let's get rid of this piece, this, and try and figure out where on this card I can get the best visual. Let's see, I want to go there. Okay, let's try this. And I'm just going to take my pencil, trace around. I'm going to take this part off because I don't need it. And here's hoping I did this right because I don't always measure correctly. I'm going to take this and I'm going to go cut it. Here, I can put this aside. I don't need it. And then cut it here. And then cut it down here. So this is done, but you'll notice that this is now going to fit perfectly on here. But I want a little bit of that burgundy to show. So this is how we're going to do this. I want at least 1/8 of an inch all the way around. And the best way of doing this, and the fastest way, I mean, you can measure 1/8 of an inch, 1/8 of an inch, 1/8 of an inch, 1/8 of an inch. I'm not going to do that. I think, yep, 1/4 inch off the side, and I want it, I like this little Christmas tree over here, so I want to keep that. And then I'm going to cut this one down over here. So, as I said, we want 1/8 of an inch all the way around. This is where I'm going to use this little thing. I already have it set at 1/4 inch. Now let's make sure I'm getting on the right side, because I've done this wrong before. Because when you flip things over, and this just works really well for me. It's not something everybody likes to use. And then I think I'm going to take, I like the steeple, so I'm going to take 1/4 inch off the bottom. Here, let's get this off. I'm going to put my ruler upside down so that I can get close to the edge as I can with what I'm doing. I'm just going to mark it with pencil. Now you can see I've got 1/4 inch here and 1/4 inch there, but when I cut it and I rearrange it, you'll see that it'll be 1/8 of an inch all the way around. Now this is going to be hard to, well, maybe it's not going to be too hard to see. There we go. You see it? Perfect. Now I'm going to take this card, make sure my saying is on the right side. I'm going to just glue, not glue, but tape this down. Put this exactly over the other card. Then I'm going to put tape on this. And see if I can guide it into the right spot. I just eyeball it the best that I can. I think that's about right. Here is what you have. This is the one that I just did, and this is the one that I was showing that we were going to do. Now this one is a little different. It's going to be 3 tiers. You notice that? I have the cream on the outside, the burgundy on the inside, okay, and the picture inside of there. Well, I do have another set of birds, so why not use those? First of all, we're going to do this a little bit in a reverse. Instead of this is, the burgundy is going to be 1/8 of an inch around. So what I'm going to do is take where's my little, there it is, my little thing here, so I don't have to sit here and remeasure all the time. I'm going to take off my one side, because it doesn't matter, this is cream. And there isn't, I shouldn't say, this is the burgundy, so it doesn't, there's no picture. I don't have to worry about cutting something off by accident. I'm going to have to be a little bit more careful with the other one. Now I'm not going to glue this one on right away, and I'll show you why. This is going to go like this, but the picture has to be smaller. So why should I sit here and do more? I'm just going to go like this and cut around what I want here. First, okay, I want that, I like that. Okay, here we go. This is what I want, where I want to cut it. Okay, wish me luck, because I've done this wrong more than once. Now I have it the same size as that maroon one. Now what I'm going to do is take off my 1/4 inch on those two sides. Now I already know this is going to fit on here. I just want this burgundy to show just a little bit there. So now I can visually see what I'm doing. I'm still going to take off, I could take off the 1/4 inch over on this side because there's really not much going on over here. So I'll take this and this. Go. Now I have to take a 1/4 inch somewhere else. I think I'm going to take it off the top. Now I'm doing this in the front because it's a little, I'm afraid if I do it in the back I'll do it on the wrong side. So I want to do it in the front so I can see exactly what I'm doing. I'm trying to keep my eyes on where that pencil mark is up here in the trees. Okay, there's my one pencil mark, there's my other pencil mark. Well, what do you think? Did I do it correctly? So now I have this. So let's get this on here. Again, make sure my greeting is in the right place. Now this is a little, oops. Yeah, I just noticed something. This is a little off here. Not much, just a little there. Come on. Oh, you don't want to come off. There's this little tag here. There it goes. That was driving me nuts. There we go. And again, I'm just eyeballing it. My eyes are not all that great, so there we go. Yep, I did not get this quite right. Well, there. Okay, now we have this. And I should have it 4 3/4. This one came down a little bit more than 4 3/4. It's a fraction of an inch off on one side. And I can tell it because of the saying on the bottom. So I'm just going to eyeball it, hope I do it right. So things can go wrong. Some things you can fix them. I'm not a perfectionist, thank God, or I'd be here till doomsday. There we go. And here, and here. Okay, now we have 2 bird ones. Now here's one I do not have a sample on because I wasn't quite sure how I wanted to do it. Now this is a little different. As you'll notice on the bottom there's some wording, and I don't want that there. So I'm going to take the wording out, but I just did a real basic cut. You can see where I taped it in the back so you can see what's going on. I did a basic cut there, and you can do it that way. Let's get it off of here. But it does look very blah on here without some sort of backing, don't you think? I think it looks very blah. So we're going to take one of these, and you can see the difference when you put the burgundy underneath. So instead of doing, I'm just going to do a simple, put this on. We already have it measured. Measured it earlier. It was one of the ones that we cut in half. Make sure yep, there it is. Oops, do this. Now this is where you're going to need a scissors. Like I said, oops, this is not going to the edge. Let's go all the way to the edge. Here. Let's go all the way to the edge. There we go. And I want this to go on here. So this is where I would use a scissors. Now you have those really fun fancy scissors that'll make all kinds of different shapes. I'm not going to be doing that. I'm just going to do something real basic with the regular scissors. All right, maybe this will work. Okay, simple. Now this one I might have to put more tape on because of the plain fact that I have more edges that have to be kept down. And here we go. And this is the last one. Thank you for watching Mary's Eclectic Interests. Take care and stay safe.